Well, I work for Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard is one of the biggest companies in the world, providing consulting services as well as technologies to its customers. I come more from the consulting side of the HP. We consult with various customers, and I happen to be consulting with one of the Fortune 100 customers. And we are using Provision to actually solve their problems in a very unique way. Well, enterprise architecture, I think, is the key technology area which is helping companies see through the myriads of their technologies, applications, business processes in a very cohesive, orchestrated way. So companies like any of the Fortune 500 companies, they now have a separate enterprise architecture group. Typically, not really ivory tower, they're kind of hands down people. Which look at the enterprise processes, enterprise applications, enterprise infrastructure, and enterprise data, and orchestrate it all together for the company so that you have visibility from the top as to what your discrete components of your IT infrastructure are. Well, I think case for action is pretty easy to create because the organizations have not been acting on their IT infrastructure for a very long time. So most of the companies, including the customers I've worked for, they have grown through acquisitions, mergers, and this essentially means they have several infrastructure pieces, several application pieces which are coming together. So one of the things which I think case for action is pretty easy to make is visibility. Enterprise architecture gives you visibility into the entire spectrum of enterprise architecture components, which includes business, organization, application, infrastructure, data, in one single view. And having that power helps you take decisions and do things much faster. And that, I think, is a very strong case for action. Well, I think the question is pretty easy for me to answer. I as a consultant, when I go to the customer account, I look back into as to what HP is using. And the thing I found was that HP had chosen Provision to do some of the modeling work. So I started from there, and I told the customer, customer also happened to have Provision also. So I told them that, let's use something which HP already uses. And then the good thing was that I was able to tap into the HP backend, the back office, the brains of HP, the innards of HP, and get the best methodology and best practices from our HP internal, and convey the same to our customer. So it was a kind of I didn't have to go through the struggle of choosing a package. It was already kind of chosen for me, and all I had to do was start using it and use the best practices which were developed by HP. The project I'm working on is kind of relatively new. I think it's going to be a success. I'm not going to say that it's successful at this time, but the vision we have is essentially to map out the processes, map out the infrastructure, map out the application layer, all of them, and tie them together. You have to kind of understand how complex this customer is. This customer is global, over 60 countries, over 190 plants, and very complex organization with mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures. So you have a very complex enterprise architecture kind of a scenario, and this is almost as complex as it gets. So we're trying to model all that in Provision, and so far we are kind of 3 months into our journey, and we have done very well. We have been able to get all the organization models, the application models, the infrastructure models, and the application interface models into Provision pretty easily. So yes, definitely it's very successful so far. Well, the project is going to change the organization in a couple of ways. One is that we want to reduce the number of applications. I think this is a common problem, again, a lot of Fortune 500 companies or 100 companies are facing. They have a huge set of applications, and they seem to be doing same thing over and over again in different applications. So one of the things we intend to do is after doing the as-is analysis or as-is infrastructure analysis, we want to map out as to what it's going to be in a couple of years. So we're going to do 2009 to-be analysis, 2010 to-be analysis, and those analysis would essentially say that, for a particular process, why do I need so many applications? Let's get rid of some of these applications. So one of the business drivers for doing this enterprise architecture work is to reduce the application count and also paint a scenario as to how would the organization look in 2009, how would the organization look in 2010. One needs to get trained in the proper use of the tool. The tool is very simple to use. It can be used by a layman out of the box. And I think, proper use of the tool is very important. Otherwise, you won't get the desired results. And I think Metastorm as a company has provided excellent customer support. I've been very excited with the kind of support I've been able to get from Metastorm. And I think, if you do the things right, in the right way, you would be successful. Absolutely. I think it's not just BPM which is driving this. It's the SOA and the enterprise strategy for most of the Fortune 100 organizations which is driving it. So yes, I have a vision where I define my strategy, I define my business processes, I execute my business processes, and I don't really care about where the information is coming from, which application is actually serving that information. So definitely, we have that end-to-end visibility and the game plan. It'll take some time to come through, but yes, definitely we have that plan.